Hi there, I'm Lindsay Schopfer. I'm an award-winning fantasy author, and today I'm going to be looking at some of the artwork that was submitted for my 2025 fan art contest. This is my fifth contest? Sixth? I can't remember. We've been doing this for a while, and there has been some fantastic artwork submitted in years past, and this last year was no exception. So we're just going to be taking a look at some of the pieces that were submitted. I should also let you know that we are going to have a special honorary mention for one of these, and then we will have the winner of the contest. So with no further ado, let's get into these. Okay, so here's the first one. Um, Looking at it, I really like this one. I mean, okay, I'm gonna say I like all of these, just as fair warning. But I really like this one. I've had the artist submit before, and I noticed that this particular artist, they have kind of a comic book kind of style. In fact, in a previous submission that they did, there were little captions, and it was like 4 or 5 panels, if I remember right, from the Beast Hunter, which is the first of the Adventures of Kelton Moore, my steampunk monster hunter book. This one is also from a very specific scene in the Beast Hunter. This is the point at which Kelton, our main character, and you can see him down there in the corner, where he is traveling on a train on the way to a job, and there is a wreck caused by some saboteurs. Now, some of the things that I love about this piece, I love the shading that's been done, the shading in the sky, as well as on Kelton's face. I also love the little details. Like, look at this little, I don't know what you would call it, like a little clasp, a little, it's the attachment between his rifle and its carrying strap. I just love those little bits of kind of brass work, the detailing there. Um, it's a great attention to detail. It would be so easy to just put him there in frame and not worry about the gun or whatever, but it's all there. This one, it didn't win the contest, but it's a great piece. I really love it, and honestly, I I think that this artist, if they're ever interested in having a lot more work than they have right now, if they're ever interested, I would definitely love to talk to them about possibly doing like a limited web serial of some of my stories, putting those up for you guys to check out. I think this artist could do an amazing job of illustrating, even if it's just a few select chapters, even if it's not the entire book. But yeah, leave a comment below if that's something that you'd like to see. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so this one is it's looks like kind of a collage or a mixture. We've got three different subjects in one picture, but it looks like they're all kind of based around the same general timeline of the Beast Hunter. Again, this one is from the first book in the Kelton Moore series. Of course, we have Kelton there. He's looking a little more ragged, a little more rugged in this one. I like the bushy beard. That's fun. Um, the hat has a lot of nice wear and tear to it, which I really enjoy. The three little brass rings are fun. Um, in the top of the image, we have the farmhouse, which, if you're familiar at all with the book, you know that Kelton and his friends get trapped inside this farmhouse, surrounded by monsters, and they can't get out. And what are they going to do? This looks like it's much further along in the story. We can see some of the damage to the second story, which I won't give any spoilers, but it might have been the work of this guy in the top left. Um, I think that this is a great example of how different people can interpret elements of the story, because this particular artist's version of the tusked giant. Now, the tusked giant is supposed to be this monstrous beast It's supposed to have big tusks. That's one of the big elements of it. It's supposed to be really bestial and kind of animal-like. Um, if I remember right, I think the arms are kind of described as being kind of ape-like, big and muscular. But it is definitely an animal. Now, this artist kind of took the word giant in the name and really ran with it. This looks a little more like it's kind of giving me like the ogre vibes from Lord of the Rings. It really kind of feels like that, either that or like a roided out Gollum, um, or Caliban, if you want to be Shakespearean. I'm only mentioning that because I was in the Tempest when I was a kid, so I think of Caliban. But anyway, um, you know, is this going to be accurate to the story? Is this exactly what I pictured in my head? No, and you know what? That doesn't matter. That's okay. I always tell people when I tell my students and when I speak on the subject of creative writing, I always love to say that um, reading a story is a collaborative effort, right? It's a collaboration between both the writer and the reader. So when I write my stories, I'm bringing part of the material to the experience, but the reader is bringing the other part of that material to the experience. They're bringing their imagination. They're bringing their lived experience. So if this is what this artist sees when they think of Kelton or think of the farmhouse or even the Tusk Giant, then awesome, fantastic, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you had such a fantastic visualization, and especially I am glad that you were willing to share it with us. So yeah, great work, great stuff. Okay, so these next three submissions were all done by the same artist, definitely a prolific artist, and as you can see from this one, um, just fantastic artwork done by this individual. This first one is one of the monsters, one of the creatures from my stories. This one is called the Serpent Stag, and when I thought of these creatures, when I describe them, I'm kind of minimalist when I give my descriptions. So that's part of the reason too why some of these interpretations may be wildly different. Um, but I mean, I still I love all of these, whether they are close to what I envisioned or not. Um, you know, for the serpent stag, I think I might have been envisioning something that looked a little more deer-like, something that had legs and maybe was kind of scaly and stuff. But like this took the serpent part of serpent stag and leaned into that heavily. And you know what? I'm here for it. I think it's great. We still have that great the great antlers that are there. But I love just the way that there is blending between the beast and the setting. Like the brush that's there. It almost looks like the branches are growing out of it, which is really kind of cool. So I really love all of the little details in the face, in particular. Um, it's not a strictly serpent face, but it's also not a strictly like deer face either. It's got the eyes with the vertical slits in them, like a snake would. But then it's got these ears, which are very deer-like. They're small and kind of oval shaped. But then the snout is almost kind of pig-like, which is fantastic. And then the teeth, they almost look to me more like maybe like a weasel or a stoat or something. Just fantastic stuff. I love artwork that combines elements from different creatures. That isn't just okay. Well, this is just going to be a stag with scales on its body. No, it's a mix. It's a chimera, right? Or chimera. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm sure I'll get plenty of comments telling me how to do it. But I've loved mythology since I was a kid, and so much of mythological creatures are combinations of naturally occurring animals mixed together to make it something weird and different. And this is a great example of that. So fantastic work from the artist here. Okay, and here is the second piece that was submitted by the same artist. Um, this one is the title of it was Kelton's Nightmare, and I had to ask the artist kind of what their concept was when they emailed it to me, because one of the rules for this contest was that the artwork has to be inspired by my work. I did get a number of submissions from some artists it was beautiful artwork, right? Fantastic work. But if it's not tied to my stories, then it just didn't really feel like it was appropriate for a fan art contest. I'm not an art critic. I'm not here to evaluate art in a general sense. I'm just here to kind of react and be excited and fan out over artwork based on my stories. That being said, this piece, the concept for it was that this creature here is one of the beasts that Kelton hunts, and the dream catcher around it. As the artist explained it to me, the idea is that the beast it's kind of emerging from the dreams into reality. You can see that kind of in the blurring and in the background, and more detail as it's coming forward. And the idea is that the dream catcher is trying to contain it, but is not able to, and it's losing control of this nightmare that Kelton has. And I think that's fantastic. It might be the Forest Devil, which is the first beast that Kelton encounters in the series. But looking at this and thinking about it in terms of a nightmare, I'm almost wondering, and maybe this is a little bit of headcanon, but that's what fan art and this kind of thing is about, right? But I kind of think about the beast that killed Kelton's dad, right? Because that's a big part of Kelton's backstory. That he learned how to be a beast hunter from his father and his grandfather and his uncles, and then he was starting to take over the family business, but then his father was killed by a beast, which is, if you're a fan of the series, you'll know that that's why Kelton's mom won't speak to him anymore, because he's continuing a job that took the life of his father, but it's the only job he knows, and it's the only way he knows of to provide for his family. But I wonder if this is one of the nightmares that Kelton has had or still has about the beast that killed his dad, because he never found it, right? So I wonder if maybe this isn't necessarily meant to be a specific beast. Maybe this is just meant to be a generic imagining of what the beast could have been from Kelton when he's thinking about his dad. So I love this piece because it's not just a representation of something that I wrote. It's an imagining further, right? It tells its own story within the mythology of the Keltmore series, and that's just fantastic. I mean, I'm humbled by it. So this one, it was close. I wanted to call this one the winner, but when you see the winner, I hope you'll agree with me that this one is great, but the winner deserves that top spot. But this one, for sure, is going to be an honorable mention. Okay, and here we are with the third entry from the same artist, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This one won the contest. This one is also the tusked giant that we talked about earlier, and already I think you can see how this one was maybe a little more. A little closer to the original vision that I had. It's certainly closer to the description that I had. in the story. You can see those giant tusks there. You can see the long fur, the big shoulders. But I there are a couple things about this one that I love in particular. One is just the framing of it. Um, you know, I'm perfectly happy with any artwork that somebody submits, right? I love everything, but what I especially love is when somebody creates a whole picture, right, that looks like an illustration from a book. It isn't just the subject; it's everything around the subject too. So, the detail work in the leaves and the foliage, the ivy along the side of the trunk, all of that. I really love the fact that somebody took the time to go in and not just make the subject accurate, but to really make this a piece of art. That somebody wanted to go in and not just draw the one thing from my story, but really pull you into that moment in the story to make you feel like you're there, not just looking at something from it, but actually viscerally creating that sense of space. And I love that. Um, the detail work on the shading, the colors in the fur is just gorgeous. I love the feet of this thing, and also you look at those eyes. The eyes are just so captivating to me because they don't look evil, right? They don't look like a monster in the sense of something that is, uh, just wicked. This is an animal, right? This is an animal that has perhaps quite a bit of intelligence as well, and that is something that I certainly explored even more beyond the Beast Hunter, beyond the first book in the series. I did. Uh, Explore a lot more the concepts of these beasts, not just as enemies to be killed, like this was a video game or something, but that they are part of their natural world. And I love the way that these eyes almost have a bit of sadness to them, right? Like this is a it's an apex predator who is slowly losing ground to society and to progress in this world. And there's a bit of a tragedy to that, and I love that. And it's a beautiful piece. It's startling. There's also a certain warmth to it, even though it's a picture of a beast, of a monster. Um, it's the kind of image that I could sit there and just look at it and just enjoy examining every inch of it. So that's why this one, for me, is the winner of the contest. So thank you so much again to the artists who submitted those three pieces. Just so you know, the honorable mention and the winner, we are going to be turning those both into postcards. We may do more with it later, but we've already signed a contract to get those turned into postcards so that I can sell them at live events. So if you've ever seen me at one of the events that I do across the Western United States, and you want to come and get some of this artwork, you can certainly purchase those. I'll also have these available on my website that you can order as well. Now, there was more artwork submitted, and the rest of this artwork is very, very special to me. And I hope that you guys will all indulge me because I read my short story collection, The Dragon Within. I read a couple of stories from this to my three daughters, and they were so excited to create their own artwork based on the stories. I have had young fans submit artwork before, But this is my first time having fan arts submitted by my own daughters. So I have to share, I am super excited to have my girls' work featured. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so I have three daughters. There are the twins who are 8, and then the little one who is 6. And they have heard several of my stories. The artwork for this first subject all comes from Sharp Sword, Dull Sword, which is a little comedy story about a talking sword. It's also actually the first story I ever had professionally published. So it's a very special story to me, and it's really exciting to have my girls create artwork based on it. So in this one, we have several elements from the story. We have Vin, the talking sword, who has a very bright and smiley face on him, which is great. We also have. I love the fact that there's actually the dimensions of the room. You can see the corner there, right? There's different walls there. Um, and the this weird looking little gray guy down here is Chester, who is a gargoyle in the story, who also plays a role in that. So this one is so much fun. We've got the shadow there, a little bit of shading um, on Vin. He's supposed to be hanging up on the wall, so that's why he looks like he's floating off in space, but he's not. He's actually hung up on that wall. So great attention to detail with that one. From the same story, we have another one from my other twin. Um, this one is a little more realistic, a little more focused on Vin, but we also have the shading here with the shadows and everything. We also have these little bits here. I thought at first that maybe these were little mistakes or something that wasn't intended to be there. Maybe it was like kind of a rough sketch that should have been erased. But when I look closer at it, I realized these are actually sparkles that are coming off of the blade. So it's kind of like that sheen, the shine that comes off the blade of Ven the Talking Sword. So I think that's great, and she even put the runnel along the blade there, which great attention to detail. I might have a little swordsmith in training there. And then, of course, we have the one from my youngest, who has both Vin, the talking sword, as well as Chester, the gargoyle, next to him. I love it. Uh, my daughters are they're so precious, and I love them all so much. And the fact that they are so excited to share in my stories, and I promise I didn't put them up to these. These were all things that they wanted to do. They were excited for it. So I'm so happy that I get to share these pieces with you. And this one, it's another fun one, right? I love it. It's great. Okay, so one more picture apiece from each of my three girls. These next pictures are from my short story, We Don't Do Quests, which is also from the Dragon Within short story collection. This one is a comedy spoof of D&D. And I'm so excited to be able to share it with them. It's maybe not my most deep or necessarily my most artistic work, but it's something that speaks very closely to me. I've been in gaming groups for years and years and years, and being able to create a story uh, focusing on my love of gaming was such a joy, and I loved revisiting it and sharing it with my girls. And this this scene here is from the end of the story. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I will say that there is fantastic detail here for the all of the characters are here. We've got two characters that have accidentally been turned into animals. One of them was turned into a alligator. The other one was turned into a lemur. We have our wizard over here on the side, who is the one that was accidentally in charge of it, was accidentally the cause of that. We have a couple other characters that are acting out a scene from that part of the story. I don't want to give it away. And there's even you can just barely see it. There's a little toy dragon. It's a live dragon in the story, but it's like a teacup dragon. You've heard of like teacup poodles? So this is a teacup dragon. Just right down there, that little pink blob there. So cute. I love it. And the attention to detail is great with this one, including the fact that there is the note letting us know, because it's important to know that even though it's an analog clock, it is currently in the AM. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does say AM next to the clock. So that's important to note, that this is during the morning, not at night. Okay, now we have this one from the same story. This is from my littlest daughter. Great detail here. This is a wizard who appears in the story, along with the lemur from the later scene, just for fun. I don't know if you can quite see the lemur. It's a little hard to make out with the white background. But the detail on the wizard is just great. I love the hat. I love the beard. I love the crazy hair out the side. This looks like the kind of wizard that you would definitely want to sit down for tea with. And it's so much fun. I'm so glad that my daughter had such a good time coming up with this piece, and with listening to the story. It was so great to hear them all giggling and laughing right along with me as we read the story together. And then the last one is also of the wizard, and this is from another one of the twins. This one, I have to admit, really blew me away. I love it. I love the framing of it. I mentioned before with the contest winner that I love when a piece of artwork really fills the whole space with artwork, and so this does that. We've got we've got floor, wall, and ceiling. We have a doorway in the background, which really complicates the scene, which is great. The torch, and then we've got the wizard himself. Details on the robe are great. The hair, the fact that he's balding, that he's got like long hair down the sides, but he's bald on top with this weird long hat. The wand, the sparkles coming off the wand. This is the same twin who liked the sparkles in the other picture. I just love it. I think it's great. So I'm so happy I got to share this artwork with you guys. And that's all of it. That's all of the artwork that was submitted for 2025. Thank you again to everybody that participated this year and in years previous. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see me react to more artwork, I've got lots from previous years that I can react to. And we'll be doing the 2026 fan art contest later this year, so be on the lookout for that. If you're interested in any of the books that this artwork is based on, I'll have links in the description. And yeah, I'll just say until I see you again, happy reading. Take care, everybody. See you later. Take 3. Well, I guess they're small. Okay. Okay. I love how you kicked it and then said sorry and then kicked it again and then said sorry and then kicked it again.
I know, right?